Thanks, Count
Deputy Daly.
Thanks, Councillor. I think it is appropriate that the Dáil has given time to discuss this issue this week. Undoubtedly, the damage caused by the recent severe weather has acted as a body blow to communities right across the country. People have lost their livelihoods, and some people have effectively lost their home as a result of that damage. And I think it is important that we utilise the time. It's not good enough to offer them sympathetic words here, much and all, as I'm sure they would appreciate it. What people need coming from this discussion is to know what's going to happen next in terms of providing the backup to assist in the urgent remedial works that are necessary. But I think more importantly, and the points touched on by other deputies, is what systems are going to be in place in order to minimise the chances of the same level of damage being done in the event of future reoccurrences. And I think that is absolutely critical. And I just want to briefly use the example of the devastation caused in my own area in the coastal community of Portrane. And one letter from one resident summed up the situation very well when he said, "I was born here in 1952 and I've lived here all my life. I've seen the coast eroding over the years, but I have never seen the devastation of the past 2 weeks. We are now at the point of no return. The next storm will surely breach the dunes. If the winds had not been favourable this time, the dunes would have been totally destroyed." And I think that the warnings have been there. I think the local community has sought a very determined battle over the past number of years to try and get the establishment in both Fingal County Council and at government level to take action to deal with coastal erosion. And we have to say that because that action was not taken, those communities are now paying the price of that, and the lessons have to be learned. I mean, the community fought long and hard to get a report and a survey to look at what steps needed to be taken to deal with the damage that was being done. A report was issued last August, and it has sat there since then. Who's to know that if some of those findings had been implemented, then the terrible situation that residents are now in would not have happened. And we have to take that on board. We now have a scenario which properties which were not in the firing line are now in the firing line. They never were the victims of erosion before. Erosion at the south end of the beach is only yards away from road signs. The roadside chunks of ground have been washed away. Trees that were there a couple of weeks ago are now gone. The boardwalk and steps down to the beach have been completely washed away, and homes are in grave danger, as indeed is a mobile home park there. The community has responded with heroic efforts of coming out and trying to stem the tide, but we need support in that venture. And while Fingal County Council have said they'll come up with some monies, I want the Minister to deal with the point, if he's not too busy talking to his friend there, that he might actually listen to the question, is that under your minor repair works programmes, seemingly the funds are available, and I read from the report from your department, for repairs to built flood defences and coastal protection structures. The reality is that this community has been exposed because there are no defences there. The defences there were natural defences, dunes which have been eroded over the years, and the measures haven't been put in place to deal with that. So what the community wants to know is that because there isn't a built defence there, what can they get access to these funds to redevelop the area and that is so desperately needed. Otherwise, we'll have huge costs in the future, and homes will have disappeared into the sea next time round if you don't listen.
Thank you very much, Deputy Daly.